Fighting words. Blessed Sartan, whispered a soft voice behind him, nearly causing Haplo to jump out of his rune-covered skin. He turned swiftly to find Alfred hovering in the air overhead, staring down at the fire-lighted bodies moving in the cavern. Haplo tensed, waiting, casting a furious glance at the dog, who had failed its trust. At least I'll have the satisfaction of killing one Sartan before I die. Alfred stared into the cavern, his face a pale glimmer in the reflected firelight, his eyes sad and troubled. Go ahead, go ahead, Sartan, Haplo demanded in a savage whisper. Why don't you get it over with? Call to them. They're your brothers. Not mine, said Alfred, in hollowed tones. Not mine. What do you mean? That's Sartan they're speaking. No, Haplo. The Sartan language is the language of life. Theirs, Alfred lifted a hand ghostly in its grace, and pointed, is the language of death. Okay, I just recently finished reading, hold on, let me fix this. I just recently finished reading, and I got a haircut, as you can see, Firelight. And Firelight takes place in the world, the Sartan world of stone. And it's basically inside, like the inside of a volcano, as you can see on the cover. Not really, but yeah, there's a dragon, and it's in a pool of magma, or a lake of magma. Actually, the Fire Sea. So, what happens in Fire Sea is Haplo travels through Death's Gate and into the world of Abarak. And Abarak, as the world of stone, he, upon entering through Death's Gate, Alfred, who is a Sartan, and Haplo is a patron, okay? And they're just Sartan and patrons are just, they like to keep apart from each other, but Alfred somehow ends up on Dragonwing when he enters through Death's Gate into Abarak. And you find out throughout the book that the way he ended up on his ship was by a very, very slim chance, because he was lowered down into the maelstrom on Arianus, and it was a very, very slim chance that he would live through that, but he did. So, anyways, they meet. Abarak is the world of the Sartan, and the inhabitants of that world are Sartan, and they practice the art of necromancy, which actually is my favorite class on Diablo 3, which, even though it's not out, but when I played Diablo 2, just a minor note. But yes, it is the world of... Get out of here. People live even after death. Their spirit lives as a ghost, you know, like in the color of cigarette smoke, I guess, is the only thing I can think of. But the dead never sleep, and they perform the daily tasks, because all the living in the world of Abarak are essentially lazy, but, I mean, yeah. And they have a leader by the name of Clytus. Clytus finds out that Haplo is a patron, and he locks him in an underground cell. And Alfred rediscovers him, or finds out where he is, because Haplo's dog appears in front of Alfred. And prior to that, Alfred has the thought that Haplo has died. But since his dog is alive and well, he knows that Haplo is in fact still living. So Alfred and the dog go in search of Haplo, and they find him. They arrive in the chamber, what is called the Chamber of the Damned. And in the Chamber of the Damned, they are the Sartan are able to communicate with other worlds. And it's warded off by runes. Dead are allowed to enter, but the runes that are set on the doors keep say in the Sartan language that if you bring trouble with you, you are not welcome, or something along those lines. Yeah, but they find sanctuary in the Chamber of the Damned, and once the Clytus and his army of the dead catch up with them, they find a passage up through cavern to, I believe it's called, the town is called Necropolis. And once they reach Necropolis, they discover a fallen statue in the Fire Sea to cross to what is known as Safe Harbor, where Haplo has landed his dragon ship, Dragonwing. And upon crossing that broken down statue, they see that they cannot make it the entire way across. So what happens is a fire dragon emerges from the Fire Sea, and they have to convince that dragon to let them cross. And the relationship between dragons and human, or as they're known in the series as mensch, which are humans, dwarves, and elves, and patron. Those are known as mensch, but there's even the patrons and the Sartan. Dragons don't have a very good relationship with any of them. So, but they eventually convince the dragon to carry them across to their ship, their dragon ship, and into Safe Harbor. They board the dragon ship, called Dragonwing, and they take off into Death's Gate. It took me a while to finish Fire Sea, but I did it, and I decided, I really enjoyed it. I did. It was just somewhat complex, a little complex, not too complex, but somewhat. But I managed. And the next one, not on my reading list, not my next project, but the next book I'll be tackling is The Crystal Shard. Book 1 of the Icewind Dale trilogy. I can't tell you how many people have recommended this trilogy to me, and I have not read it yet. I'm currently on chapter 4, which is called the Crystal Shard. So, I'm making my way through that next. I hope you, whoever watches this, enjoyed. I'm sorry for the lack of light, but I'm doing the best I can. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time.